TCI is brought to you by Spendthrift Stallion Wilburn. It's not too late to breed secure in 2014 to this grand-looking Grade 2 winner by Bernardini.
Welcome back to TCI, your inside track to the Triple Crown. Alongside Joel Cunningham, I'm John Siegel. Well, Joel, we got it, what we were hoping for, another opportunity for a Triple Crown winner. California Chrome gets it done in the Preakness. Joel, this horse, man, I'm telling you, there's something about him. He's winning these races. He's doing it impressively. I don't know, man. I think we might have a shot this year.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, John. I mean, certainly he has the quality. And you know what? You say he's doing it impressively. The impressive thing about him is he just keeps winning. I mean, that's 6 in a row now. And, you know, we talked about it. He's been #1 on the TCI Top 10 since his Santa Anita Derby win. It's because a lot of horses have just gone by the wayside. You know, the horses that maybe that we expected to be divisional leaders, Constitution, Cairo Prince, you know, horses of the top quality, Honor Code, and so forth. They're obviously injured. So I think that opened up a big opportunity. But take nothing away from the colt. He's certainly doing his job, and his tactical speed and chemistry with his rider. And I tell you what, the fact that he's overcome so much, being a California horse with the question marks of being able to handle the ship to Kentucky, you know, and overcome that, ship 2 weeks later to Baltimore, overcome that. Anytime your Derby winner comes back and wins the Preakness and wins 6 in a row, it's an impressive accomplishment.
Well, we're going to look at the stretch run here in a second, but I think the most important part of this race was the break. You know, social inclusion looked great in the saddling, you know, area, but man, as soon as he got on that track, it just seemed like he kind of lost it. He started washing out again, acting up in the gate, which seemed like it gave California Chrome just a perfect opportunity to take advantage of the break.
You know, it did. You know, I mean, I thought California Chrome had a great trip in the Derby. I mean, normally Derby has a lightning fast pace. He's a horse that's a brilliant type horse. So, in my opinion, it would have hurt him if the pace was fast in the Derby because it sets up the deep closers. It turns into a slingshot type race, a Monarchos type race, or whatever. You know, name a closer after we've seen a fast pace in the Derby.
Yeah.
And it turns into a race like that to where you'd wonder down that stretch, would he be able to hold on at a classic distance? Well, he was able to control things, didn't have a straw in his path. Same thing here in the Preakness. I mean, fate was in his side. I mean, let's face it, you have to have luck in these Triple Crown races. You have to have the horse, but you have to have luck as well. His tactical speed, again, I thought Victor did a tremendous job of breaking out of the gate cleanly. The horse, obviously, they say sways in the gate, but he's had 2 good breaks in the Triple Crown so far. Victor is able to put him into the race, float social inclusion wide, knowing that he was the main threat in terms of having a fast pace. And I thought that was very key. And then we saw Ria Antonio obviously make the lead. That was unexpected. That lets you know that it wasn't a fast pace. If Ria Antonio was quick enough to make the lead, that lets you know it was a very ordinary pace over a track that California Chrome being able to stalk in a perfect trip, he was going to be tough to beat after that. Social inclusion, John, yeah, obviously his 3rd start in the Wood, you know, we saw him melt down. But the fact that they brought him, you know, plenty early to Pimlico, had a breeze over the track, I thought maybe in his 4th start he would have learned something from that, been a little more behaved, and he was great in the saddling paddock. But once they started singing Maryland, My Maryland on the track, his meltdown began. By the time he got in the track, he was full of sweat, totally worked up, and he didn't even handle the gate experience that well. He looked like he was trying to flip in the gate and wrestle around in the gate. Obviously, he broke slow at his head in the air. He wanted no part of, he was not sharp early, and he needed to be sharp early to have a tactical advantage over California Chrome, and he wasn't.
I thought it was interesting the jockey was more mentally fatigued than he was physically fatigued after the race. Personally, I thought he moved early. You know, I said, oh man, he saw social inclusion make that move. He went early with California Chrome. I thought he was going to be in trouble at that point. But take us to the top of the stretch and work us through there. I thought it was a brilliant ride.
Yeah, let's go to Twin Spires TV race replay, and we'll take a look at it here with the play button. And already you see social inclusion here has already tried to range up wide on him. And you're right, that forced Victor's hand a little bit. But it's good to have that tactical speed to be able to push the button when you need to be able to get away. Social inclusion really flattens out here. And right on Curlin, a horse that, again, we were really impressed with how he was training up to the Preakness. He runs the race of his life here, but he's just not as good as California Chrome. That's the bottom line. He's not going to catch California Chrome on that type of racetrack with that type of pace scenario. Both horses ran tremendous races in here. Tip your cap to both of them. California Chrome got a 105 Brisnet number. He leads the crop right now with a 106 tied with social inclusion. So that 105 was more back to a peak performance for him.
Well, I asked you going into the weekend, do you think he's going to be Big Brown dominant in this race over this group of horses that you can only run against the horses that are in the starting gate with you? Sure. I asked you, do you think he's going to be that kind of dominant? You said you didn't feel like he was going to be that dominant, but here's an interesting stat. Joel, he runs almost the same exact time as Big Brown in the Preakness.
Yeah, it's true. Of course, Big Brown did it and won by 5 and was like this crossing the wire. California Chrome finished a length and a half in front of a horse that's 0 for 8 in stakes races. And I know Right on Curlin ran the race of his life. He looked tremendous, and he ran the best race he's ever run, and he's hinted at that potential all along. But he's dominant over this group, but he's not dominant in the context of the word dominance. I mean, He's not drawing off by 10 like he did in the Santa Anita Derby and some of those races in California. You know, they're giving him a little bit of a test now. He's just a better horse. And again, with these perfect trips and his tactical ability to carve out his trip based on the pace scenario, once they've come up to be very ordinary pace scenarios, I think that's been an advantage California Chrome. So now the real test begins, John. I mean, the Derby, well within his context. You know, certainly the Preakness, once he won the Derby, you knew the Preakness was well within his range.
Yeah.
Now a mile and a half in Belmont back in 3 weeks on one of the biggest dirt ovals in the world where horses can get lost out there. We've seen it dash a lot of dreams. Be interested to see what happens to California Chrome.
Well, I'll tell you what, this horse is shining bright right now. You know, he ran the Preakness faster than Looking at Lucky, faster than Shackelford, faster than Rachel Alexander. I know the speed is not going to be as important in the Belmont. It'll be interesting next week. You didn't pick him in the Derby. You didn't pick him in the Preakness. I'm interested to see next week what your thoughts are moving into the Belmont.
We'll see. A lot of fresh shooters.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, thank you guys for watching. Come back next week. We'll really start looking at the Belmont field, and we'll see who the contenders will be for California Chrome.